I can tell you from my side, as the chair of the police committee, I'm not comfortable with him serving on the committee any longer. I think there's a direct conflict of interest. And unfortunately, Mr. Adams has previously really disrupted the committee quite a bit. Now, I don't want to get into a mudslinging contest with him, but it's become increasingly difficult to have any kind of constructive meeting with Mr. Adams when it comes to the Police Portfolio Committee. And therefore, I think, this process needs to take its course. Everyone is equal before the law, and it is very worrying. I need to confirm as well that I heard previously that he had claimed that he had gone to the Westville prison in his official capacity as a member of the Police Portfolio Committee. And that is wrong. He was not mandated to go to the Westville prison as a member of the Police Portfolio Committee. And to add to that, the Police Portfolio Committee members, including myself, are not investigators that can go and question people or, for that matter, do specific oversight regarding correctional facilities. Our mandate is to focus on the South African Police Service and the institutions around it. So it's very worrying. It also means that there's a breach of trust. Let's call it a breach of trust for now, with regards to his continued being a member of the Police Portfolio Committee, and potentially to the gang violence inquiry that is coming up. It is difficult to see how we can build a future relationship that's meant to be founded on trust in these committees.
Controversy is deepening around Fadael Adams after explosive allegations surfaced that he attempted to influence a key witness in the murder case of Sindiso Magaqa, a killing that continues to cast a long shadow over political violence in KwaZulu-Natal. According to a high-ranking police source involved in the investigation, Adams allegedly traveled from Cape Town to Durban to meet convicted hitman Sibusisi Ngcengwa at the Westville Correctional Facility. The purpose of the visit, the source claims, was not merely to gather information, but to persuade Ngcengwa to alter his confession and implicate senior crime intelligence official Dumisani Khumalo in Magaqa's 2017 assassination. Ngcengwa, who has already confessed to being the gunman who carried out the fatal shooting, is considered a central figure in the case. His testimony has played a crucial role in shaping the state's understanding of how the politically motivated killing was executed. The allegation that efforts were made to influence his version of events has therefore raised serious concerns within law enforcement circles. The police source further alleged that Adams' actions were part of a broader, coordinated efforts involving certain crime intelligence operatives aimed at discrediting or removing Khumalo from his position, and that while many are puzzled about Adams' interest in a political murder case outside his province, we are fully aware of the underlying motives. The public will soon understand the real reasons behind his involvement. What has been revealed so far is only phase 1. Phase 2 will shock many. Despite these claims, the same source insisted that there is no factual basis to link Khumalo to Magaqa's murder. According to investigators, Khumalo only became involved in the case in 2018 after the assassination, when he was deployed to KwaZulu-Natal alongside Lieutenant General Nhlanhla to assist in stabilizing policing operations in the province. The revelations also tie into a testimony held at the Madlanga Commission, where a police operative identified as Witness E detailed significant intelligence failures preceding Magaqa's killings. The operative, who had been handling a crime intelligence project involving the infiltration of a high syndicate, testified that members assigned to the operation were later co-opted into contract killings. According to Witness E, he had alerted crime intelligence leadership in 2017 about a plot to assassinate Magaqa at least 2 weeks before the attack took place. Despite this warning, no preventative measures were taken. Magaqa was later shot in Mzimkhulu and succumbed to his injuries, sparking a national outrage and the renewed scrutiny over political killings in the province. The allegations against Adams add another layer of complexity to an already fraught case. Law enforcement authorities claim his visit to Ngqengwa constitutes interference in an ongoing investigation, leading to his arrest on charges of defeating the ends of justice. It is alleged that upon his arrival in Durban, Adams was escorted under controversial circumstances to the Westfield Correctional Facility, where he met with the imprisoned hitman. Police have raised concerns not only about the purpose of the visit, but also about the apparent use of official resources, including claims that the escort involved blue lights typically reserved for emergency or high priority operations. During his appearance before an ad hoc parliamentary committee investigation claims of political interference in police work, General Ramkhwanazi confirmed that Adams had indeed been escorted. However, Adams has strongly denied that the South African Police Service facilitated the escort, maintaining that it was instead arranged by Durban Metro Police. Adams has defended his actions, arguing that his visit to Ngqengwa was conducted in his capacity as a member of parliament, stating that he was carrying out oversight responsibilities and had intended to interview the accused as part of the work. His legal representative, Bruce Hendricks, confirmed that he had been briefed on the allegations. Adams is expected to appear in Pinetown Magistrates Court, where the case is likely to attract significant public and political attention. His arrest has intensified debate around the extent of political involvement in criminal investigations, as well as the integrity of processes surrounding high-profile cases. As the investigation unfolds, attention is also likely to remain fixed on the unresolved questions surrounding Magaqa's assassination, particularly the apparent failure by the intelligence structures to act on prior warnings and the broader implications for accountability within South Africa's law enforcement agencies. With competing narratives emerging from police sources, political figures, and legal representatives, the case is shaping up to be a critical test of both the justice system and the country's ability to confront the enduring challenge of politically linked violence. On the other hand, Vadel Adams will remain in custody after making his first appearance on charges of fraud and defeating or obstructing the course of justice. Pinetown Magistrates Court ruled on Thursday that he will remain in custody at a secret location until his bail application resumes next week. During the proceedings, the state argued that it needed additional time to properly prepare its opposition to bail. According to the prosecutor, investigators also needed time to gather evidence relating to Adams' public statements, alleged interference with witnesses, and verification of addresses provided to the police. The prosecutor stated that there is a serious allegation of interference with the state witness. We cannot, in our criminal justice system, ignore that fact. The state said affidavits and additional evidence will be placed before the court during the formal bail hearing. Adams' lawyer, Bruce Hendricks, accused the state of delaying proceedings despite having ample time to prepare. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.